Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I made some adorable and easy to make holiday ornaments. I'll show you how I made these candy canes, this tree, and lastly, my personal favorite, this cute mitten. I'll leave timestamps down below if you want to skip to a specific ornament. These are all genuinely super easy to make, and they make for great stocking stuffers or gifts to give out during the holidays, or they're just a great at-home activity to do. All you really need is polymer clay and a few other items that you can easily find around the house, like toothpicks and thread. Before we jump right in, please take a moment to hit that like button down below. Okay, now let's make some candy canes. So I'm going to show you two types of candy canes, one with one stripe on it and then another with two stripes, but it's basically the same idea. You're going to mostly need some white clay for the base of the candy cane, and then you can pick out whichever colors you want for the stripes. So take that white clay, warm it up, and roll it out. Once you're satisfied with the thickness, just take an X-Acto knife or a regular knife and cut it to the length that you would want. Now take the clay that you want to use for the stripe color and roll that out even thinner. So I'm making a single striped candy cane, and all I'm doing is attaching both strips together side by side and lightly pressing them against each other. Then start gently twisting the clay like so, and once you're satisfied with the twist, all you're going to do is roll it out again to flatten it. And then cut off the sides to give it a nice flat edge. And then shape it into a candy cane and you're done. It looks good enough to eat, but don't eat it. So if you want to add multiple stripe colors, it basically is the same idea. Create your base, attach the first color to the base, roll out color number 2, and attach the color on top of the base again and put it right beside the other stripe. Please ignore how crusty my fingers are. But anyway, you're just gonna twist it around once again and do the exact same thing. Roll it out. And there you have it, candy canes. These are super quick and easy to make, and I would say they're definitely kid-friendly. Pop them in the oven based on whatever your clay's baking instructions are, and you're good to go. And now it's time to make the tree. Honestly, out of the three, I think this one is the most fun and satisfying to make, and you'll see why. You'll need to have these hair clipping scissors, I don't know. They have this curve at the end, and to give this tree a nice colorful, textured look, I'm going to actually mix together 3 different colors and mix them up, not too much, but just enough to give them a nice marble colored design. If you're interested in learning more about how to make marble clay patterns, I actually have a marble clay coaster video that you can check out. Once you have your color, all you're going to do is roll it, but roll it in a way that you're putting more pressure on one side so it forms this cone, and then pinch the top, shape it, and press down on the bottom just to give it that cylindrical cone shape. I'm taking my toothpick, it's really red because I've been using it for all the other crafts. I'm just poking it through the bottom so it kind of looks like this popsicle tree, and that'll really help you when you're getting to the bottom of the tree to hold it. As you can see, I'm doing this little cutting motion where I pinch it with the edge of my scissors and I pinch it outwards, forming this shape. I don't really know how to describe it, but you basically keep doing this around the tree, and remember not to cut it too deep. You just want to basically touch the surface. I feel like I'm a topiarist. I had to Google that word, but basically the person that trims bushes into beautiful shapes. Ta-da! You've created a tree. You can leave it as is, or if you want to make it into an ornament, you can just poke a hole through the top using that same toothpick, then bake it in the oven based on whatever your clay instructions are. Put a thread through it, and you're all done. And lastly is this mitt idea that I found on Pinterest. The link is down below. This is definitely the most challenging of the three, but trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. So you're mostly going to need some red clay and a little bit of white clay. And flatten out the red clay. Now I'm just going to create a mitten shape, which I am just freehanding by making a straight line for the bottom and then creating the shape. But another alternative is to create a template using cardboard and tracing that. Either way, don't worry if you don't get the perfect shape on the first try. You can always squish together the clay again and start over. I definitely made multiple attempts. Once you're satisfied with your mitt shape, it's time to create this texture that you see. To do this, you just take a toothpick, and again, I'm freehanding straight lines across the mitten. Don't press too hard, but press hard enough so that you can actually see the lines. Because I'm using a toothpick, there's a lot of little clay pieces that I'm scraping and they end up on my toothpick, so I kind of just wipe them off before I start a new line. And then in between each line, you're going to make some diagonal lines, as I'm doing here, and you're going to find that, once again, a lot of clay is going to make it all look funky, so I like to just retrace the straight lines, and that does the trick. And then for the next row, you're just gonna make diagonal lines that face the opposite direction, and continue this pattern along the entire thing. Next, to make the fur, you're just going to take a piece of white clay, roll it up, and kind of create this asymmetrical shape, and attach it to the red mitt, and smoothen out the sides so that the white kind of goes off the edges. Again, excuse the crusty fingers, it's so dry. But take your toothpick and starting from the top and working your way down to the bottom, do this kind of outwards pushing motion that gives it like these little pieces that stick out. It gives it this 3D effect, and don't do it randomly, like go row by row and make them really close together, and keep poking at it until you are satisfied. Lastly, to make the snowflake, you're just going to need a tiny amount of white clay and roll it out extremely thin, like as thin as you can without it breaking. You have to be really delicate with this part because it can easily break when it's super thin. Because it's so thin, you'll need to use your toothpick rather than your fingers to grab onto the clay. So basically slice a piece and it'll stick to the toothpick, and just gently place that on top. Take an equal sized piece to the last one and create a little cross. And continue doing this for the other parts of the snowflake, so you'll have 2 more lines of equal size going diagonally. Now you just need to take tiny little bits to add to the little edges of each part of the snowflake, and you're literally just like taking out like specks, like just tiny pieces of clay. And again, using your toothpick to navigate the clay. And then if you want to make it into an ornament after baking, poke a hole using that same toothpick. And this is the finished product after I baked them in the oven. Again, you can put a string through them, but I actually decided to use my earring equipment. Using my pliers and these jump rings, I attached them to my earring hooks. And voila! I hope you guys are as excited to try these out as I was. They were actually really fun to make. And don't forget to hit that like button down below and leave a comment telling me which of these you would love to try. I hope you guys have a fantastic and safe holiday season, and I'll see you guys next time.